Just got back from practice. Went across the Saints just because the weather this morning would have been probably fine here, but at 6 a.m. it was coming down pretty good. So wanted to make sure we got practice in. Today was really our only full gear day of the week. Tomorrow will be spider pads. Thursday will be a walkthrough. Friday will be like a Sunday for us with the Thursday game coming up. So players will be off on Friday. From a football perspective, they still got school. And then Saturday will be like a Monday, kind of our start introduction for the week as we move forward. But good win last week. Got a lot to play for coming ahead. Not the time to relax or feel comfortable. So with that, we'll open it up.
Kind of similar output to the Temple game where 20 guys had 47 tackles. But this time, you look one way and all of a sudden there'd be a 90-run touchdown. And we saw that in Temple. We didn't see that against Navy. What can you say really about the focus at all three levels of the field? Yeah,
they challenge you. What Navy did, the scheme they present with three-back option, wing tee, spread, gun, run stuff, all of it they do. It challenges you D-line, second level, third level to just do your job really well. They'll hit you downhill, then they'll get you on the perimeter and get you out leveraged, and then they'll try to get you to run down to the box and throw it by you. And so I thought our guys really executed. We had one play where we let somebody get by us. I thought we didn't cover down really good with our eyes, but for the most part, we leveraged the football the right way and tackled pretty good. A lot of guys played. I think that's probably been the most unique thing of this defense this year is the number of guys that are contributing. I've been around some defenses where it's like, all right, these are the three guys. This defense is like, all right, these are the 23 guys. Just a lot of guys in on the act, which is fun to see.
And obviously there's been times this year where we've wanted to see Darian Mensah perhaps run a little bit more and, kind of seeing that light bulb flip on his head almost. But it wasn't just that touchdown run. It was really the, third and fourth and shorts that he started converting. I mean, what can you kind of say about his growth and confidence in that game?
Yeah, we had the 4th and 1, I believe it was, where they held our back onto the flat. And he converted that with his feet, but we got the penalty. I think he's got an extreme level of confidence in the pocket with seeing the throw lanes come open down the field in the passing game. I think, is almost so calm back there looking for the windows that it's really impressive. He's had to kind of grow into the running concept, and I kidded around after the game and called him Michael Vick. Like, nobody's going to confuse him with Michael Vick or Lamar Jackson. But I think, I tell him all the time, like, Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield don't run 4.4, but they're good runners when they have to run. And I think he's just got to continue to develop in that area of his game. I think a lot of that comes with, like, experience in the game, the reps, getting confidence of tucking the ball. He didn't tuck the ball great on the touchdown. I told him that. Like, he still carried the ball a little too loose from his body for my liking. But a lot of that gives you confidence. And when it's there, I want him to run. I don't want him to just go run to say he ran. But when they give you, lanes to step up and go get positive yardage in the run game at quarterback, that makes you more dangerous.
A lot of the times you see the teams bring out a 6-0 lineman because there's a weakness going on there. It kind of seemed like almost playing off Caleb Thomas as a strength. I mean, how much more versatility does this offense have when you're able to bring him out there and run plays off him?
Yeah. In full disclosure, Caleb's always available in the plan. Alex had something happen pregame warmups that wasn't planned, a kind of surprise tweak, something he's going to be fine with, it looks like, for next week's game. But pregame, one of those deals that was not in the plan, Alex had a surprise, like, oh, goodness, I don't know if I can play type injury. And so we immediately went into the locker room after pregame warmups, and Coach Craddock and McKissick and Roshar and Tyler Spots, Orgeron, all those guys, we all got in the coach's locker room. We're like, all right, well, Bauman's not available, and Reggie was already on a pitch count. What do we do to manufacture tight end runs? And so CT's a great jumbo option there. Reese Baker's another option we have there. Anthony Miller's played, and we feel good about his development growth. And then we need to get more out of Josh Goins. He's got to grow faster. But CT, I told him, it's funny you bring him up. I told him today post-practice, I'm like, I'm glad you're here. Can we get you another year of eligibility? Like, he's just such a comfort for a coach because he can go play center, he can go play guard, he can go play tight end if needed. he's got a lot of versatility. He's a really smart kid. He's a very dependable guy. He's a great teammate. He's ready when his number's called. He's just an absolute – he's one of those unsung heroes of a team like this where, nobody's going to put his name on social media or Twitter or whatever because he's his position by nature, but he just brings a ton of value to our team. And that we always have those jumbo runs available. We had to use them a little bit more probably than we expected going into the game.
You mentioned the defensive depth. I think on their fourth down play, I looked and Patrick Jenkins was standing on the sideline because it was just the rotation.
Yeah.
It's like you don't ever really your defensive coaches don't really seem to have to worry about who's out there for any play because there's confidence in everybody that's playing.
Yeah, I think you've seen in our D-line room a ton of guys step up in different parts of the year and make plays. I think Adonis has had a good last several weeks. Earlier in the year, you saw Gerard Henderson, who has been such an unknown coming this year, kind of take over some of the South Florida game at times. Parker Peterson's had a great year. He's had a really good year. Eric Hicks is he's sort of like Caleb Thomas, but on the D-line, you don't think about him all the time, but he's just a good, consistent player. Deshaun Batiste calls the fumble. Like that group, the depth of that group to roll a lot of guys in, play fresh guys. There are moments within a game where I'm like, hey, get the ones in. Like, get the ones in. Like, if we're in the red zone, a critical situation, I usually am on the defensive coaches, like, make sure we get everybody that we got to have it. But we're not afraid to let guys just go play a little bit. I think you've seen that at all three levels. At linebacker with, what you would consider backups of Dixon Agu and Chris Rogers, and even Mekhi Williams has stepped up the last few weeks. At safety, Jack Chinchu. Kevin Adams has flashed and had moments. At corner, Joker's starting to get more. I think you're just seeing the depth of the team kind of really start to show. And, going kind of like the deal with Darian running the football. When guys make a play, you get more confident in them as a coach, and they get more confident in themselves for, I can go play in that moment. I'm ready to go make the play. And that's really cool to see.
And you mentioned it's no time to relax. Obviously, there's still a lot in front of this team. But some people look at it the tendency you clinched a spot in the championship game. The championship game is down the road. Do you talk to your players at all about absolutely not looking ahead?
Oh yeah. I talk to them every day about I don't care about what happens tomorrow. I look at the weather for more. That's about it. I don't care. I have zero interest in talking about the championship game right now. Anybody in our building that wants to talk about it, they're in jeopardy of maybe getting Terry Tate office linebackered. We're not going to be talking about anything that's way down the road. We got a really good Memphis team coming up. They're 9-2, preseason picked to win our league. They've been to 11 straight bowl games. They got a quarterback who's got 10,000 passing yards or something, crazy number. So the championship game will come, but we have a lot to get prepared for long before that gets here.
And they've got all teams are different, but the most similar team there, I guess, is somewhat to North Texas in terms of their passing ability. And you beat North Texas, but they pass for a lot of yards. It's obviously a totally different challenge from what you faced in recent weeks.
Oh yeah, it is not Navy's offense for sure, and they're really not North Texas's offense. Where Memphis, they have good schemes that are sound, and I think their players know what they're doing. They keep it clean for their guys. They appear maybe a little more complex at times because of some formational stuff they do, but really they put their players in great positions. This Rock Thomas, this tight end receiver guy they got, wow, he's a real guy. Their backs. And there are other receivers, and they're tight end. The kid that had a touchdown last week, they're just – you look at them on film, and I'm like, all right, are we playing Memphis or are we playing Tennessee or who are we playing? They got guys everywhere. It's so it's a challenge. The quarterback's played a lot of football. He's a really good player, distributes it well, has a good arm, runs it good. They stress you out, and it'll be a real challenge for our defensive guys for sure.
Mentioned when I ran into you yesterday just the last 3 games, 121-9, which in isolation looks like a really stunning spread. But what kind of context would you give to that, just in terms of how you've played generally over the last 3 games, and also in particular, how unusual is it to go 3 games where the defense only gives up 9 points combined?
It's rare. I mean, to be in a situation where you really were on the brink of maybe shutouts in 3 straight games is unbelievable. I think it's a great testament to our staff. That's Coach Witt blowing the whistle to get the guys in the weight room. Yeah, no, it's Coach Witt blowing the whistle to get all the guys in the weight room real fast, so they can make it on time to class. I think it's rare to be in position to have 3 almost shutouts and get 1. I think we were all, as coaches, ticked after the Temple game for giving up a late kind of what we felt like was a kind of a frustrating touchdown there. The beginning of the year, we had so many new pieces. There were 5 defensive starters off of last year's team that transferred out. And there were 7 guys that started game 1 that were not here when I got here. They got here in like January or May. And so it took a little time for everybody to kind of figure it out, figure each other out, get to trust each other. You can have good individual talent, but if you don't know how to play well with each other, it doesn't matter. There's lots of teams in college football that got great talent, but they don't play for each other. They don't care about each other. They don't know each other. Well, then you don't usually maximize what you can become. These guys have started to get better as they've really gotten to know how to play with each other and trust each other and care about each other and strain, and the standards elevated. Sam Howard's been a critical addition to our football team. He's made other guys that were already leaders on our team better leaders. So I think so much of it is like the on-field success. Usually it follows what happens behind closed doors with guys, with players leading. I talk all the time about good teams can be coach-led. Great teams have to be player-led. We have got phenomenal player leadership, and I think it shows with kind of how that side of the ball has improved as the year's gone, because early in the year we weren't very good on defense.
Just one quick one about Thanksgiving. I know that's out of your control to some extent, but I guess what's in your control is just how you encourage, I guess, how important you think the crowd is, how you encourage people to show up and participate and stuff.
Yeah.
So how are you approaching that Thanksgiving night game?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think first off for us, we'll do a couple things as a team to help our guys reflect and be thankful and appreciative. We'll go out and do a couple service things next week because they'll be out of class. And so they'll do a couple community service activities is one thing that we will reflect on. And then we're the only college football game on. The Egg Bowl at Mississippi State Ole Miss used to be played forever on Thanksgiving night. Well, it's not this year. So we are the game, one college football game, 2 really good teams. This team, it's the last home game. It's senior day, last regular season home game that we're guaranteed. Senior day, these guys, these players deserve a phenomenal turnout. And I would tell you this, don't my wife and kids don't come to the game to watch me. They come to watch our players. Come support our players. These guys, Josh Rimitich, Tyler Grubbs, Caleb Thomas, Ra Green, these guys have been going through senior day. Pat Jenkins, that have given so much to this place. Ethan Hudak, these guys deserve a phenomenal environment. There's no other game going on that night. And so if you live in New Orleans, I don't care who you're a fan of, come hang out. Come watch these guys. Come, because they've given a lot to this city and this university, and our guys are, I think, such positive influences in the community. Man, I think they deserve a full stadium. They do, and if we don't do that for the guys, that's disappointing because they deserve it. They've earned it, and we've got a great team, a team that has worked incredibly hard to put a good product together for the school and the community. And so I would love nothing more for it to be the students won't be there. They're going to be all gone for Thanksgiving. So we need other people that maybe don't usually show up to show up. So you can only eat so much turkey on Thanksgiving Day. At some point you might as well drink a beer and watch football. You know what I mean? Or bourbon or whatever you like.
I know you had mentioned in the past the rat poison with the rankings and all of that stuff, but obviously now this year with an expanded 12-team playoff, more teams are in the conversation, and not just in the conversation to make it, but also the conversation with debates of who should get in, and it makes these other programs more prominently seen. Do you think that has a positive kind of impact on recruiting for your program?
Oh yeah, without question. We talk a lot about you can do anything from Tulane. Like, you can be as successful in business or in life as you want to be. You can live in the coolest city in maybe the United States of America, New Orleans, and you can play high-level football and achieve all your goals and dreams in football. Like, ask Matt Forte. Like, Matt came here and talked to our team. Like, you can become a pro's pro and play at the highest level from here. Maybe for a while the argument was, well, you can't get access to playing for a national championship. Well, you can. And I don't get caught up in where we're ranked as much right now. Like, it's November I was about to say 18th. It's the 19th today. Nobody cares where you're ranked on the 19th. Like, we won't look back 20 years from now and go, where was Tulane ranked on November 19th? What matters is where you finish, how you finish the year. But I think for the fan base, for the university, for the community, for our players to have a lot out there to play for, and the college football playoff being a part of that, it adds to, I think, our game. I think it makes our game better. I think just having that access. Like I said, all you want is access. Well, our players have always had access to getting a great degree, living in a great city, and having access to getting to the NFL if they want to go to the NFL, if they are able to. There's maybe been some things that have been off the table in regards to, can you really get in the national title game? Well, you still got a lot of work to do to be able to do that, but now anybody has that opportunity. You just got to go out and earn it, and you get what you earn. And so I think it does make it a different landscape for everybody involved. I think I was talking to somebody the other day about this. I think there's probably like 20-plus teams right now in college football that think they can get in the college football playoff. Or last year at this time when there was a 4-team playoff, there's probably like 8 or 9 or 10. So it does, I think, create a better product for what's going on this late in the season with a lot of programs. That it? All right, appreciate y'all. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.